As part of the American Cities Climate Challenge, we partnered with OUC and the Science Center to bring the Orlando Tiny Greenhouse today. Visitors have an opportunity to engage in a lot of cool interactive features that will be guiding them on how to save money and reduce their environmental impact. Even though this technology has evolved, not everybody can afford EV or solar right now, so there's a lot of other great highlights of low cost and no cost opportunities to save residents money that you'll learn about when you visit the home. And the greenhouse is on wheels, so we're going to be able to take it around the community and have people enjoy it and learn from it in various different areas of our community.
Trailing Thoughts from Katie Way Trail. This trail is so wide. I like to think that Katie was the name of the engineer designing the trail, and that someone came by and said, "Do you really think the trail needs to be 12 feet wide?" And she replied, "It's the Katie Way."
What do you know about Dog Walker Watch?
I think it's a great program where it's dog walkers like me who are out and about in their neighborhood every day. They're the eyes and ears of the neighborhood, providing an extra set of eyes to the police. If you see something, say something.
It absolutely makes a difference because it will weed out the crime because they know that we're saying hello and greeting and that we've made eye contact and that I see you.
It's easy. You know, you're going to walk your dog anyway. You're going to say hello to your neighbors anyway. You're going to be walking through on a daily basis, so it's just important to contribute back to your community.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the August 15th, 2022 workshop of the Orlando City Council. Good morning, Commissioners. As you remember, in 2019, we joined the AARP network of age-friendly communities. And in doing so, we committed to conducting a community assessment to determine our city's age friendliness, to develop an action plan based on those findings, and then implement age-friendly initiatives in response to the needs of our community. So we have conducted extensive outreach, including surveys, focus groups, community conversations, and our result is the Livable Orlando Age-Friendly Action Plan, which details 25 specific goals and 89 action items the city will take to become more age-friendly. And as this council all gets up towards that age-friendliness criteria, it's probably a good thing. So I'd like to call on Paul Lewis, our Chief Planning Manager, to present an overview of Livable Orlando Age-Friendly Action Plan.
Hi, Mayor. We're gonna change up the program just a little bit because we want to give Kathy Russell a chance to say
And
a few
we'll
words.
call on Kathy Russell, who's been
and I'm gonna
the
get sorry.
catalyst behind all of this.
Yes.
I'm the warm-up act. Thank you. You may be wondering why it is important that our city have an age-friendly initiative in place. Well, here is why. When you think about it, everyone in this room is aging 24 hours a day, every day. Therefore, we should probably throw out our old stereotypes and transform the way we think about aging, because getting older is a good thing. It should be something that you want to do, particularly when you consider the alternative. However, when you ask most people if they would like to be 100 years old, most hesitate. But then they say yes if they could live better and healthier lives. Well, that's not too far off in the future. Data shows that in 2030, which is just 8 years away, the 65 and over population will be the largest population in the United States. With a healthy lifestyle and medical advancements, they can expect to live well in the 90s, many in the hundreds, and I think Commissioner Ortiz says 115, was it? Being driven by the baby boomer population, they are living with a renewed sense of purpose, have a wealth of resources to give to their communities. Most of them want to stay in their homes, and many will work longer. I think we have a few examples here. Also, it is a well-known fact that this age group cares about community issues and usually votes in high numbers. Unfortunately, there will be many inequities existing with the have and have-nots, for example, healthcare, which will need to be addressed. So what does this older population want and need? How does a city provide appropriate services for the second half of their citizens' adult lives? How do we select and implement the best practices to ensure that Orlando remains a viable, livable, and safe community for all ages? We believe that we have some answers for you to consider. Today, we are presenting you the opportunity to implement an action plan that Orlando remains a community for a lifetime for all its residents.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay.
Very nice. Very nice. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm so honored to be part of the Mayor's Committee on Livability and Healthy Aging. Looking back, I never thought I would reach this stage in my life. Ironically, one of my aunts just passed away this weekend. She turned 105 last year. She would have been 106. It's another reminder that we are living longer and older, and why we have to have a plan in place to reflect the goals of our community to have a place for seniors to live in a comfortable way. I would like to introduce some of the members of the committee who are here today. If they could just stand as I call your name. Tristan Ruby, Nicole Brown, Ingrid Collins, Marwa El Manshawi, Marie Hernandez, and Lada Thiamwang. And I think there's also a volunteer who's part of he's not a part of the committee, but he's here today. He's a volunteer with the committee. I want to just tell you that it's been a remarkable experience having been on the other side doing planning work before to be part of this committee. There's been incredible feedback and input from the committee members. The staff have been wonderful as well. This plan is really something quite special, and it comes from the heart from all the people who worked on it, including Paul Lewis, who shepherded most of the writing. But all these members had a lot of input, and I think it's a plan that we are very proud of, but more importantly, we'll be able to work on for the next few years to implement its goals and objectives. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn this over to Paul Lewis, and thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, committee.
Thank you, Dean. I just wanted to mention that we've been working on this for several years now, and we joined the network, the AARP network of age-friendly communities back in late October 2019, and the committee was really given a charge to conduct a community assessment, as the mayor mentioned, to determine our city's age friendliness and to develop this action plan, and of course to implement the action plan. Before we go too much further, I want to point out that we've dedicated this action plan document to our good friend Lynn Nicholson, who worked with us on so many things, on the Paramore Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan, on a number of other initiatives, but he was also a valuable member of the Mayor's Committee on Livability and Healthy Aging. And he was a man of wisdom, and we appreciate his time and efforts on this plan. So we miss Lynn quite a bit, and we know he's in a good place. So where are we? So the age-friendly network of communities, there's about 600 or so communities across the country that are part of the network. We agreed to do a community survey and to kind of go through and determine where we are. We did also a large amount of research and data and analysis, kind of a deep dive on that. As the mayor mentioned, we also did extensive community engagement to get input from folks. And I wanted to mention that we're also looking at how this plan can interact with all the other initiatives that the City of Orlando is involved with. So there's what I'm calling intersecting initiatives, and how they all interrelate. So the plan itself and all action plans that are part of the age-friendly network, we're basically kind of required under this network to utilize what's called the 8 domains of livability. And that structure comes out of the World Health Organization. And the AARP is actually the affiliate for the World Health Organization on age-friendly work. And essentially what it does is look at the built environment and the social environment. And the built environment is looking at things like outdoor spaces and buildings, transportation, mobility, and housing. And then on the social environment, there's 5 areas that kind of look at community support and health services, communication, information, how we can better interact with our older adults population, civic participation and employment, respect and social inclusion, really one of the focal points of all of our age-friendly work, and then social participation are the main factors there. So what we start with in the plan are some overarching goals to create an age-friendly community. Under outdoor spaces, we want to make sure that they are safe and easily accessible and comfortable, particularly in a hot climate like we have here in Orlando. And also we want to make sure that our public buildings are designed to accommodate the needs of all people, no matter their age. In addition, we are looking at how we can improve people's health and longevity by encouraging active lifestyles and including participation in meaningful recreational and cultural activities. Under housing, we want to make sure we have safe, affordable housing and that they're appropriately designed to accommodate the physical needs of residents, and particularly as they age in place. And then transportation and mobility, again, we're trying to make sure that the transportation system is safe and convenient and comfortable, and that we can get to where people want to go to have a fulfilling social life. On the other social environment type of domains, civic participation and employment, incredibly important. As you know, people want to contribute to the community as they continue into their next phases of life. And so making sure that we have good work opportunities and meaningful volunteer opportunities is really important. And we need to be able to combat some of the ageism that's out there in the world. So respect and social inclusion kind of gets to how we can celebrate and the valuable contributions that older adults have or provide to our community. Social participation really gets to how we can program things at our recreation facilities and cultural opportunities for people as they age in place. On community support and health, we really want to focus on partnerships and person-centered healthcare and social services that are important and that really encourage independent living. We also recognize that the community has people living with dementia and their family and caregivers that we want to support and enhance their quality of life. And finally, on communication and information, we really think that we can develop a system to provide older adults with the information that they need and the resources they need to live their best lives. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through all 25 specific goals and 85 specific action items, but there are a number of things that we've developed as part of this plan that we can work on over the next 3 or 4 years. And the idea, and I kind of mentioned it here, that is we really want to look at these things through kind of through an age-friendly lens, or equity through an age-friendly lens. And a lot of times, older adults tend to get forgotten, and we need to do we need to do our best to make sure that that is not the case as we move forward in time. I mentioned the intersecting initiatives. As you can see from this list, that we have, we're trying to cross-pollinate our planning efforts to some degree. So we've got Greenworks, the Community Action Plan, the Future Ready City Master Plan, Parks Master Plan under development now, the Downtown Master Plan under development now. And of course, Complete Streets and Vision Zero. All of these things are interrelated with age-friendly work as well. And we'll do our best to make sure that they are talking to each other, the plans talk to each other as we go. And I'll have an example of how that's already occurred as we go through this presentation. I did want to mention that MetroPlan Orlando recently, back in, I think in January of this year, produced their first health strategic plan, which is an incredibly important piece of material that they put together. And I look for, and we actually have a member of the MetroPlan Orlando staff that sits on our mayor's committee as well. So we're trying to build the partnerships that we'll need from an organizational perspective to ensure that we are thinking about age-friendly work as we're going forward in terms of transportation and mobility planning as well. I just wanted to give you a couple of examples of the kind of thinking we have done as a city, and as we're moving forward, we should do some more of. A great example is the Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center and Park. That is a $17 million project that includes the renovation of the existing historic building and a new gym, offices for staff, a teen room, game room, and expanded arts wing. So what I love that part of the project. The other part of the project I really love is the outdoor improvements that were done that really have some really important age-friendly components. There are playgrounds for children of different age groups. There's a musical instrument garden, and an ADA accessible all ages exercise equipment area with a shade structure. Really, really important, particularly here in a hot climate like Central Florida. And the cool thing about that is that the outdoor amenities are in close proximity with shaded areas designed specifically to allow parents and grandparents to watch their children and grandchildren. And we actually talk about this as one of the action items to mitigate the effects of extreme heat on vulnerable populations such as older adults by providing shade trees and parks, open spaces, and along roadways. I want to read all of that, but that's really, I think, something that we would want to enhance as we move forward with our park planning into the future. Preserving affordable housing for our older adults. This is an example of some really great work that that the City Council and that the Downtown Development Board, CRA, have done. Obviously, preserving affordable housing is really important. Baptist Terrace, as you all know, was opened in 1969 as a 197-unit affordable senior living community. When we found out that the affordability and age restrictions would expire in 2021, we all, as an organization, we jumped into action, and through the Downtown Orlando CRA and the City of Orlando, we provided $1 million to help the Orlando Neighborhood Improvement Corporation purchase and completely renovate that building, which, as you know, has been renamed the Roberts. And in March of this year, we celebrated that wonderful affordable housing preservation story with the ribbon cutting and rededication. That's in addition to preserving. We'll obviously need to look at how we can advance affordable senior housing as well in the years to come. On transportation, I just wanted to mention there are some innovations occurring out in the world that we need to be aware of, and one of them is Move Nona, which is shuttles that are operated by Beep, and they're an autonomous mobility provider in Lake Nona, and they they connect the Lake Nona Laureate Park neighborhood with the town center, and also with the Gatherings 55 plus community down in that neighborhood. What's interesting about those is they are ADA accessible. They arrive at a predictable interval of time, about 15 minutes. And there's, for the tech savvy of us, they do have real-time tracking. Move Nona is also going to be an important component of the GreenLink linear park system, which is really important in terms of mobility and combination of mobility and placemaking. The park will be framed by mid-rise mixed-use development containing activated civic space, bike ped facilities, and stormwater conveyance, all in a very attractive urban environment. On the horizon, and this kind of gets into how we are cross-pollinating plans. Our friends in Future Ready are working on their resilience hub concepts, and in addition to really cool things that are doing in great relation to community gardens, we think that from an age-friendly perspective, this gives us an opportunity to also think about exploring different concepts for transforming our senior centers and recreational centers to emphasize intergenerational opportunities, to really take advantage of the wisdom of our older adults and how they can interact with the young people to impart their wisdom and also to just improve the lives of all of our people. We also think we should explore telehealth in the city's senior centers and recreation centers with an emphasis on communities of concern and to significantly reduce health disparities. I'm not sure we're not sure exactly what that means at this point, but we think we need to explore that concept as we move forward. I did want to mention we've already been implementing some things, even though they didn't have a plan quite yet. The first one the one I want to mention is the 2021 AARP Community Challenge Grant, the Tables of Connection project. We, through the help of AARP, we were able to purchase and install wheelchair accessible solar operated table and shade structures in 2 neighborhood parks, in Prince Hall Park and Willows Park. They're outfitted with Wi-Fi hotspots and charging stations, and they're going to bring needed connectivity to 2 neighborhoods in which 57% and 33% of residents respectively lacked broadband service, and which is much higher than the Orlando average of about 18%. So what was cool about this particular project, aside from the tech, was that we engage with local artists to have the concrete pads upon which the tables sit, providing a colorful, unique park amenity. I did want to point out, I'm not sure you can see it in this picture, but one of the benches on one side of the table is left open so that people in wheelchairs can access the table itself. I want to thank AARP for that funding. We appreciate that. Let's see. On the human side, the plan, one of the things that I did as the person putting it together is I wanted to feature some artwork and do some interesting things with community engagement that we may never have done before. The action plan itself features artwork that's created by Arts to Spark participants, and that's a program offered by the Orlando Museum of Art for those living with memory or neurological impairments like Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's. We also included poems from the City of Orlando's 2021 Words and Wisdom Poetry Contest. as chapter dividers in the plan itself. And we saw that as a kind of a unique way of doing some community engagement. So we're kind of, hopefully we'll maybe do some more that kind of combination of action planning and artwork as we move forward with different initiatives. So where are we today? We're here for our City Council workshop presentation. We hope to bring this forward to you with acceptance on September 12th. And then after that is done, we'll take the plan to, or we'll transmit the plan to the AARP and World Health Organization. So the implementation of the plan will be directed by Mayor's Office staff in partnership with city departments over the next 4 years. Implementation is going to be evaluated over time in accordance with the schedule provided by the AARP Age-Friendly Network. The results of this initiative will be provided to the community to ensure appropriate transparency and accountability as we move forward. Implementation, again, will be guided by the Mayor's Committee on Livability and Healthy Aging, using those 25 goals and 89 action items that we identified. Our goal really is so that we have a lot of existing partnerships, and we think we're going to need to develop additional community partnerships to basically implement the action plan. So we look forward to doing that work. So bottom line, the action plan has identified some significant challenges for all of us. Residents, public agencies, the private sector, nonprofit, service providers, and cultural institutions. But it also gives us opportunities to transform the way we think about aging. Quite simply, we want to make Orlando a place to live better for longer, and for our city to be more accessible for everyone. So in the next 4 years, our initiatives will focus on improving the built-in social environments to equitably enhance the lives of Orlando residents of all ages. The plan is available on our age-friendly website, and I invite people to take a peek at that and read through it. And that is it for the presentation, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Paul. Kathy, Dean, the entire committee. It shows a tremendous amount of work and thought going into that. We do want to make sure that we are one of the most age-friendly communities in the country and take care of our seniors. Our population, median population, is a lot lower than most of the areas around the state of Florida anyways, the ones that are closer to the coast. But we certainly want to make sure that our community is one that any age can live and be happy to live here in Orlando. So this is critically important work, and I thank you. Commissioner Sheehan, then Commissioner Hill, then Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for your work on this important issue. And something that I have to bring up, because I hear from the seniors in my district all the time, blocking sidewalks with scooters and bikes. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal to most people that can walk around them, but if you're in a wheelchair or if you're walking with a cane, it might as well be a roadblock in the middle of the sidewalk. So we need to do a better job making sure those darn thing gets picked up, because it impacts our seniors in the downtown area a lot. So that's something we really need to concentrate on. Paul, something you and I talked about is the referrals for dementia support, because I just personally went through this with my mom, and someone who was connected, I had a really hard time finding resources, and I didn't even know there was an Orange County Office on Aging that I could have accessed that probably could have helped me with my referral, because I had to move her 3 times because she wasn't getting memory care support, and it kept kicking her out because she wasn't getting the kind of help that she needed, and she was frustrated and she was angry. And sometimes seniors act out when that happens, especially when they're making the transition to assisted living. So again, I think it's important for us, now that I'm aware of it, I certainly want to see us get those resources out there so people know that they're out there, because I'm connected and I didn't know that was out there. And you all working on it, but again, I'm dealing with it in real time and I didn't even know about it. So again, I want to be, and I've even reached out to some of our staff members here, have even reached out to me for advice, because I know I've gone through it. So, I think these are real life experiences that we can share, but also resources that we need to get out in the community. And another thing that I'm very, very concerned about is the senior living affordability on the towers, because many of the towers are sunsetting now. We did a great job on Baptist Terrace. The Baptist Church came to me. They wanted to make sure that we could make a deal with the CRA. Appreciate Thomas Chapman and all their help. But then Connecticut also sold, and now they're very concerned, but Onyx did not get that one, and now the seniors are not getting the information in a timely fashion, and they're very concerned about what's going to happen to them, what's going to happen to their rents and everything like that. So I think this is a really important issue as these towers sunset. Many of them were built in the late 60s, and their affordability time is going to sunset, and we just need to figure out ways to either replace them. I know there's some folks that are mad because we're doing some more affordable senior housing in downtown Orlando. We need to have more affordable senior housing in downtown Orlando, not let people control the narrative because it's a not in my backyard situation, and it's horrifying why that people wouldn't want to support our senior community. So thank you all for your hard work. Those are just some concerns and input that I had on it. And again, thank you for everything. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheehan. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you, Mayor Dyer, and how impactful the work that you all are doing, especially when it comes to our senior population. And Mayor, thank you for being that forward-thinking mayor and the staff for the work, because we're doing a gamut of things, but when it does come to our seniors and our aging, they are the most vulnerable. And with this, Kathy was stating, with science and medicines, today's my birthday, so I'm aged, hopefully. And we're living longer.
We're going to bring that up later, Commissioner.
Thank you, God, we're living longer. I don't care if I'm 29 and holding. But it is one of my fears, especially when we see more seniors raising their grandchildren, such as myself. One of our thoughts and fears is not being here to see them graduate or see them become, adults, and that's something that I think of often. I'm glad to see all the diversity and input that you all went out to the community and put into this committee, and thank you for that, Mayor Dyer. You always have made sure that equity and inclusion is in all things that we do here at the City of Orlando. Glad to see Dean Grandin be pulled out of retirement. Your wisdom and planning has always been an asset to this city, so thank you for your input in this committee. One thing that I agree with Commissioner Sheehan, we do need more senior affordable housing throughout the city, not just downtown, not just in District 6 or District 5, but throughout. And I would like, as we talk about this great new Green Ink project, is it only going to be for affluent seniors? Hopefully it's going to be mixed income seniors over in the Lake Nona Court. Sorry for asking for that, Commissioner Gray, but there are seniors all over that need a certain type of living, and I don't believe in not in my backyard and segregation when it comes especially to our seniors and affordability, because I'm certain Commissioner Burns can attest to this, something that we're seeing, especially on the west side of Orlando with these rent issues, that our seniors are, because of them being on subsidized incomes, can't even afford to stay where they've been comfortably staying, whether it's in Paramore, Mercy Drive, or Washington Shores, and they're being priced out because of these uncontrollable rents, $500 increases, when their Social Security and supplemental income isn't going up. And they're calling our office, and I'm certain Mayor Dyer's office, constantly saying what's going to happen to us, and they're being forced on the streets of Orlando and into homelessness because they have to decide, do I go and pay? And I know that's not a city issue, that we're not gentrifying or doing that. It's coming from, just a host and a gamut of things. We're seeing the nation, when it's coming to Medicaid, Medicare expansion, and them trying to decide if they're going to purchase meds or keep their lights on when utilities increasing, groceries increasing, should they be able to purchase healthy food. So there is a gamut of senior issues that we must address now so that they can live longer, healthier quality lives. And I just appreciate what everyone's doing. The other component that I hope that we do look at, especially when it comes to our seniors, as Commissioner stated, not just dementia, but adult daycares. Because there's some folks that, and that goes right back to subsidized incomes, that can't afford adult daycares because they cost sometimes $300 to $400 a week. And families now are forced to put their loved ones in nursing homes versus keeping them at home where we know they thrive and get, a great amount of care. And working with congressional leaders, because what I found with helping my godmother that's in her 90s, that even Medicare does not pay for short-term care or in-home day services. So with that being said, there's no resources available to even for a loved one to go to work and have some type of home health aide to come out and help prepare a meal, and that's really, again, I think a major issue. So we can look at some of those day centers and closing that gap with possibly using some CDBG funding or what have you sometime in the next budget cycle. That'd be great. That's all I have now.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Stewart. Thank you, Mayor. And I agree with everybody else that one of the challenges that we have is going to be housing, healthcare. We all see that. The sandwich generation is getting older. It used to be kind of well identified about 10 or 15 years ago. Now it's not quite so identified. Let me say a special thanks to all of you. Thank you, Dean. Thank you for everything that you have done for the city, as well as the role that you played here. And then Paul and Kathy, thank you all for leading this through the city. I appreciate it. I've got one quick couple of comments that, in complement to what they've had there, what Commissioner Sheehan and Commissioner Hill have said. It seems to me that partnerships is the key. And I appreciate your identifying other areas in which we need to have a senior focus on as we move forward. That is an important part. But I will tell you that after having gone with this through this in my role at the Christian Service Center with senior, as well as working with my own mother-in-law, it seems to me that a lot of those resources that need to happen can't happen within the city. We don't control them. We're just kind of part of that. So share me a little bit about how what your plan is to reach beyond city resources to make sure that the entire community has an impact.
Well, I think the communication and information side of the implementation of this plan is probably going to be a critical focus. How we can really get because you're exactly right. There are a lot of resources out there in the Central Florida community. The Senior Resource Alliance, Seniors First. There's in your own organization that are doing some great work, and that's one thing that we found was there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of great work, and we just need to highlight those partnerships and to build those partnerships as we move forward. So one of the things we talked about was, we need to figure out the communication piece and get that information out to people so that they can access those resources. I do want to give a shout out to the Orange County Office on Aging. We do have Nicole Brown here, and Orange County has had an Office on Aging for I think 20 years, somewhere in that range. And they do a lot of what they do is a clearinghouse of information. They're providing information. They have a TV programs that they do as part of Orange TV. They do a number of other, I think they do the monthly work on, and they're serving on our committee, right? So I think really, I would like for our city and for Orange County to build that partnership. as well, because we're working with the same people. We're all neighbors, and I think that's critically important as and Kathy was reminding me, and they are working on their own age-friendly plan right now. They are finishing up they have finished up their survey. Is that correct? So they finished their survey and they're in their midst of writing their plan. So we're hoping that's another plan for us to cross-pollinate as much as we can. So I think if we have enough good people working together in concert, we can help the situation and help the people in our.
I appreciate it. I had the honor of serving on the interim council on aging when we formed the original one, which is just such an honor to do that. And when I did it, I was a very young man, and and thought to myself, I hope somebody solves this problem because I'm going to get older. We're now at that age, so I want somebody to solve this problem quickly. But I do think that our seniors. Orlando has taken a strong leadership role in helping develop the plan, I think, develop our plan. But oftentimes we aren't, we don't control all those resources. Transportation, as links as an example, is community-wide. The housing issue, we can't solve the housing issue by ourselves. We have to figure out how we're going to do it and complement. Those are all issues, I think. I want to make sure that in our side that we're doing all we can to partner and communicate what our goals are and then see where we can do things in complement. I mean, it'd be neat to really do a partnership of the senior housing program with City of Orlando and Orange County together, putting their resources to maximize opportunities for our seniors. So, I appreciate the work that you guys do, and I know that this is the first step of that work. I know it's also the most important part is to identify the areas so that the people can see and envision the same thing that we envision. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think it's important for us to realize that this is our first action plan on this subject. The one of the things that's really great about the AARP network and the way the process is set up is that you do your action plan. That's basically kind of the beginning of your process. Then you do some implementation, then you evaluate your plan, and then you redo your plan after year 5. So what it does, it gives you the opportunity to fine-tune it as you go into the future. So
thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. Bring him to District 2. I'm offering a partnership because we already have, our parks have pavilions with domino tables, exercise stations. We have Seniors versus Crime. We're working with Lisa Early, setting up our swimming pools at Englewood also to put a water heater so we can have, and we're ready in the workings to implement Seniors Aquatic program. We also have medical accessibility over 6 providers, so bring them to District 2. The Seniors First, Seniors Clings, we not too long ago approved the free use of the weight rooms at our community centers, right, citywide, so we can have our seniors exercising. And now I'm making it public. Yes, I did buy 4 Pelotons for our seniors in our. I know the media came over after me because of that. I said, okay, you're going to deny our seniors Pelotons? Why? We got to keep them strong. We have a CRC DNF Family Physicians Advantage, and this is free advertising. Anyhow, now there is a couple of concerns I have, and since I first was elected as a commissioner, I always thought that at one point we had to do this. We have to account for each and every senior we have in the city. For each and every senior we have in the city, and we have to create a database and make it accessible to the fire department and to the police department. We should be able to pinpoint where they are when we're coming to an emergency. Sometimes, there's a 911 call and you don't hear anybody on the other side, and you don't know what's going on over there. It would be nice to have a database where we can say, well, there's a possibility that there's a senior on the other line. So these kind of things we need to be accounting for. And it's going to take the different resources we have, the Orange County Agency on Aging, and there's other AARP and Seniors Links, I think we can all come together and do sort of like a survey. That's something that I think is attainable. When it comes to housing, I know that we have been concentrating on affordable housing, but we need to put much bigger effort on affordable housing for our seniors. And when I talk about affordable housing, I've always argued that it's not building boxes to put heads on. It's to actually build dignifying housing, including solar panels. So if we can implement this in the system, talk to those who are developing, because we need to make it to, I mean, these are the people that made this nation the superpower it is. You know, they fought in World War I, World War II. I mean, if there's any left from World War I, but Korea, Vietnam, and you know, it's dignifying that we allow them to live their golden years in a golden fashion. So I think we need to work on that. More ALFs, by all means. All the commissioners mentioned about places, facilities. We have to, and work with Orange County, because I know that the municipalities don't concentrate on the medical side, but I think we can some way, somehow, at the end of the day, we'll benefit from having our seniors secure. And I know there's a lot of ignorance out there in terms of ALFs. You know, when we see them in communities, so far we haven't had an issue, any of them. For the contrary, I think not only they're very dignified, but they help our community. And it's good to visit seniors. A lot of seniors are alone out there. They don't have help. They don't have anybody. I know that I heard of a program that Family Park and Recreation was working on to provide food to some of our needy people out there. And I think we're moving forward with that, because it's definitely needed. There's a lot of people out there that are suffering from hunger.
Yeah, I'm sure Lisa could talk more about that, but my recollection is that we had recreation staff out during the COVID situation delivering meals. So.
And they're doing a wonderful job. I commend them, Lisa. You and your team always, looking for ways to help our community. But I want to say that instead of asking, I'm offering a partnership. We do have a lot of resources in District 2 that are, and there's more to come. We're always thinking. Something else, if I may take advantage of this opportunities in our parks. For example, at Park of the Americas, we put exercise stations, different levels, and when you go to Lake Underhill, we need to put exercise station for the disabled also. We got to stop just ostracizing them. We need to go ahead and put exercise stations for, and when it comes to disabled, a lot of our seniors have some disabilities, so we'll be able to kill a few birds with one stone. So I just want to offer that out there. So with that, thank you so much. You guys are doing a wonderful job, and you guys have a wonderful team. So I know that this thing is going to really flourish. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Ortiz. Thank you for this great presentation. We look forward to the implementation, and we'll have to have you back time and time again. And this is one of those issues. Sometimes we get issues that it's one district, but this crosses every district in the city of Orlando, and every commissioner will want to be involved. So thank you so much. And if you guys will wait about 5 minutes, we'll finish this agenda review meeting and do a picture afterwards. Thanks. All right, we'll stand adjourned.